sunsets. I almost lost some fingers for this big one, but they look great small too, so here we go. I think I read somewhere that sunsets are the most universally photographed thing on Earth, but they're still really hard to paint. I'm going to start with an outline because at least the outline of a mountain and a sunset are basically the exact same. It's also going to come down to the color. And for this, I'm going to use a lot of water. I'm going to use some orange, but color doesn't really matter quite so much. You're just kind of painting warms and cools. Top of this red is going to be kind of warm, but then I'm going to mix it with some cools down below. And I'm just going to let everything kind of bleed together. Once that's sort of dried a little bit, I'll be able to use some dark to kind of carve out these ridges, painting from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top. It's a little bit like a dance between the wet brush and the dry paper. You're always just trying to stay one step ahead so it doesn't bleed all over the place. Well, okay, not quite like a dance in that sense, but you've got to work with your painting. You can't fall too far behind, you've got to keep up and somehow stay relaxed and have fun during the whole thing. It's a little bit exhausting too. Now eventually all of the lights and shadows will be in, and that's when I'm going to go in and add some of these details of the rocks. They're just kind of catching that last glimmer of sun, and they are so bright and they stand out in this way that really just pulls everything together. You don't need much either. We're just talking a few little hints. Now this is the scary part for me. The first half of a painting is to make it. The second half of the painting is to ruin it. I am an expert at overworking, and so I'm trying to leave a lot of these big sunny areas open and not fill everything with rocks. Generally, I know something's done when I've gone too far, so confidence is key. Trust yourself, your painting's going to be awesome. Now I'm going to get to the sky last, but I think what really makes a sunset isn't always the sky, it's the shadows. We think of sunsets as these big bright displays, but what makes them so bright is these dark blue shadows that they cast. I used to spend a lot of time focusing just on the fancy parts or the bright part of a sunset, but it was a little bit like having a birthday cake made out of just frosting. You have to have all the parts to really pull it together, so it's worth spending a little bit of extra time on the things that might not draw the eye at first. Now I can't procrastinate forever, so eventually it's time to do the sky in one go. I'm doing the sky all at once because I don't want any hard edges. The good news is it's done quickly, but the bad news is it is done quickly. Before you know it, you're onto those last little details of the painting as your sky dries above. Then I just add a few little flicks of paint for those rocks in the distance, and then I'll just add myself and Eve into it. You know what, I might even add the cat. Boom, there we go. We've never actually taken the cat hiking with us, but what's the point of painting anything unless you actually paint everything? And there you have it. Sunny Alaskan winter sunset in a nice warm house. Now it's time to go show the cat. Boy, he's gonna be thrilled.